Are you ready for the top five movies of 2012?
No.
Me either.
There was too many good movies out.
Yeah.
I can give you a top 20. I don't think I can give you.
Wow. You really like this year. Okay.
Yeah, this year was good.
All right. Well,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I, there was a lot of movies I liked this year.
Well, then you start us off then.
I started to, my number five, and you might have this higher,
Yeah.
is Django Unchained.
It actually didn't make my list. I have it an honorable mention.
Really, it was on the cup with me also.
Okay.
I mean, there was like a lot of parts of the movie I liked,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was parts not so much that bothered me.
Yeah.
And it was more, I think, the subject matter
Mm-hmm.
than it was the movie itself. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously it's a Tarantino movie, so a lot of people are going to get killed and stuff. But
Right.
the movie was set during the slavery period in the United States, and I must have gotten in the last 10 years uh, with the sensitivity issues
Uh-huh.
that actually the N word was bothering me in this movie, which
Yeah.
it never would have before.
Well, yeah,
So,
like the violence that was also probably excessive in this movie.
yeah, I mean the one that stands out in my mind the most because they kept playing it over and over again was
Yeah.
the scene where they sick the dogs
Oh,
on
geez, yeah.
the black slave thing.
Yeah, it's there's parts that are tough to watch, and I felt like the movie was a little too long. Like it seemed like it had like multiple endings that could have ended prior, So that's why it didn't quite make my top five, but it definitely has some great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Walt's got a second
Waltz was awesome in this, yeah.
Academy Award. Yeah, he was like really good. What's his name was good.
Jamie Foxx and
Yeah,
DiCaprio.
Fox was good. DiCaprio was good.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson
Jackson
was
always
good.
is great,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he was good. I mean, the part that he played, that he used the N word more than anybody used the N word.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean, I, the movie was good. I mean, I liked the movie. It was just certain parts that,
Yeah.
you know,
There were certain parts that were hilarious too, like the whole thing with the Klan people that couldn't see out of their
oh
masks
my
and stuff.
God,
That was great.
with the hoods. So are we wearing
Yeah.
the hoods or we not wearing the hoods?
Yeah, yeah. And Don Johnson was one of them, right? And then
Yeah,
Jonah Hill, I think, plays one of them. I like so yeah, it had some good cameos and but yeah, Christoph Waltz, man, that was just a great role as the dentist slash bounty hunter
yeah,
for
right. And the
great.
stupid dental thing bouncing back and
Yeah.
forth on top of the thing.
Yeah, yeah. But also the cinematography, out west, it was beautiful and yeah, really well done
Yeah, I mean,
Tarantino movie.
yeah, the movie was like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
good
that
pick.
I think now with all the sensitivity things that they've been pushing on us for like the last well, couple of decades, it's probably now I'm sensitized or something, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Tarantino, maybe that's partly why he's retiring. He can't make the movies like he wouldn't be able to do this again,
Yeah,
probably. So, yeah, but good pick. So, my number five is kind of the opposite of this, I guess. It's Francis Ha, which I'm sure you've never heard of. It's kind of like an art house film, more or less, directed by Noah Baumbach, who's good friends with Wes Anderson. So it's not quite a Wes Anderson movie, but it's in that vein. But it's Noah Baumbach's wife in real life. Greta Gerwig plays the main role. This girl who wants to be a dancer in New York City, and it's just kind of her misadventures and trying to just find herself kind of movie. And it's got some other people that you would recognize, like Adam Driver plays one of
Okay.
these guys that she dates, and he plays kind of a jerk in the movie. But it's a lot of just funny, awkward situations, and yeah, Greta Gerwig is great in it. Like she's kind of, you just can't take your eyes off of her. There's just something about her that's really relatable. And there's also this great scene where she's like dancing through the streets to this David Bowie song that I never really liked before, but it made me go back and listen to his music again and be like, oh, his 80s stuff was actually pretty cool. So yeah, it's a cool kind of cute movie, and from a female perspective, which now I guess is more prevalent, but at this time maybe not as much. So yeah, that's my pick.
Okay.
So what's your number 4?
And you're gonna say, here it comes
Ah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
The Hobbit in an unexpected journey.
The damn hobbits. Here we go. And
Yeah,
these are 3 years in a row, right?
yeah, these are 3 years in a row also.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
of course, this is the first one.
Yep.
I mean, actually, it was a really good, fun, enjoyable movie.
Yeah, yeah. Probably the first one, like Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think I enjoyed the first one of this the most as well.
Right. And, I mean, all three of the movies followed the book,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jackson, you know, added some other scenes into the movie,
Right.
which which would explain more of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I think his thinking was that, well, if you watch the Hobbit thing first, you would understand the Lord of the Rings better
Yeah.
by
Right.
him adding these other scenes to the thing.
Yeah, and
But
how he linked them together with all the other subplots was
yeah,
actually pretty
yeah.
well done.
Maybe I had the thing with, the dwarves coming in
Mhm.
unexpectedly, coming and taking over his house, eating the food,
Right.
meeting with Gandalf, and then, cleaning the dishes, with them flying through the air, and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. And then
Right.
he, reluctantly finally decides that, okay, he's going to do this. He's going to be their thief.
Right. Yeah. And
And then,
yeah, I mean,
going,
this was, come on, the growing up, I mean, this was probably one of my favorite books of all time. I just wish that they had just done one, because I think they could have easily done one movie instead of three and just had
yeah,
it a
they
classic.
might have had to do it in two, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, uh, I guess, which one did he get to meet Gollum? Was that the second one then, or was
No,
that in the
actually, it was
first one?
this one.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It
So
was
yeah, I
a,
thought it was my favorite one
yeah.
because I
So
love that
yeah,
scene with the
yeah.
riddles and
With
everything.
the riddle, yeah, the
Yeah.
riddle game and stuff like that.
Yes.
And yeah, with the goblins,
Right.
in the mist, inside the Misty Mountains and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All the best stuff is
Yeah,
in the beginning, in my opinion,
yeah,
and setting up the characters. Hobbit Town and everything is fun. And
yeah,
Gandalf, for those who had not seen Lord of the Rings first, it's a really cool
yeah.
setup with the dwarves and everything. So All right, I'll take your Hobbit pick. I was worried. I forgot for a second that Harry Potter had now ended, and I was like, "Oh no!" But yeah. So my number four is kind of like last time. I went with a little bit of a cheat of a music movie, and this one's even more of a cheat because it's not a documentary; it's a concert film, and it's Coldplay 2012, and it's their concert. It's actually filmed over multiple locations. I think it's France and London and America, but it's just one of the best concert movies if you're a Coldplay fan, especially. But this was on the heels of their Milo Xyloto album, which at this point they had become pretty much the biggest band in the world, like, or right up there with U2. So their light show was amazing on top of all the great music that they've been around for over a decade and playing all their hits along with some really cool gems. And they had even a song with Rihanna that performed with her, and just really great. So I had to have it on my list, but I put it low enough to where I'm sure it won't, make our final top five. So you probably don't even know much of Coldplay's music, right? Unless I've played it for you, maybe.
Now, not really.
But you know of them, right?
I've heard, yes,
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
of, yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad that that's true. So, so what's your number three?
My number three is Skyfall.
Ah, okay. Did not make my list, but good pick. Yeah.
Yes, it grossed $1 billion plus.
Mm-hmm.
And so did The Hobbit, actually, too, gross $1 billion plus.
Wow. We're getting into the billions now.
Billions and billions and billions.
Yes.
Yeah, Daniel Craig starring again as 007.
Mm-hmm.
The movie totally action packed from like beginning to end.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty much true.
Bond even gets shot
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the movie,
Right.
where everybody thought he was dead. They even did, M even wrote an obituary form and stuff. He gets shot by his co-agent at the
Right.
time,
Yep.
and she was hesitant to take the shot, and M said, "Take the shot," because she didn't have a clean shot.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
Bond and the bad guy were fighting on top of a train.
Right.
And if she didn't take the shot, that was it. He would have escaped. So, of
Yeah.
course, she takes the shot. She hits Bond. Bond falls off the train, over the bridge, like, I don't know how many feet. It had to be like 50 stories or something like that.
Yeah, that was a wild opening sequence, man.
Yeah, right. That's how it
And
starts out.
yeah, and Javier Bardem plays the villain in this one, right? Which he's always great as a bad guy, as we know from No Country for Old Men. But yeah, there's some cool dramatic stuff in this one, especially with M.
Right.
So
yeah,
good pick.
Yeah, and I mean, he could have ended the series here,
right?
With him playing the series.
Yeah, right.
Because of the ending,
Exactly. Right.
But
it will never end.
Well, I don't. Well, so it ended with the last one.
Well, yeah,
the one after this one.
I mean, they'll get another Bond and keep going, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah,
I mean, he was like the fifth Bond or something, fifth or sixth. Like that, you keep track of them.
Yeah, and this one also has one of the best Bond songs ever with Adele's Skyfall song.
Yeah.
So
Did she win an Oscar for that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. So probably and Grammy as well. But yeah, okay, so good pick. So my number 3 is another movie you may have never heard of, but if you haven't, you would like it. The Place Beyond the Pines. Have you heard
No,
of it?
I never saw it,
Okay.
but I know that that movie came out that year.
Okay.
It was one of a few that I have not seen yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, add it to your list because it's cool. It starts out as this kind of weird bank robbery movie where Ryan Gosling plays this guy who's robbing banks with help from a friend that he's a like robs banks on a motorcycle, and that's his getaway thing. And the motorcycle just always goes up a ramp into this truck that's driven by his friend, and they're doing well, and he's dating Eva Mendez's character. But then a cop played by Bradley Cooper gets into the mix, and I don't want to give too much away, but this movie is really different in that a lot of time passes from events, and it's almost like a baton is handed off to each actor, and then it also involves the kids of the main actors later on, from events that happen early on. And Ray Liotta's in this too, and he plays kind of a crooked cop, and he's great in it. And yeah, it's really cool how it explores kind of the aftermath and the effect of heavy stuff on children. So yeah, I really dug it. I highly recommend it. So all right, so now we're down to, this may be another year we may not have anything in common. We'll see. What's your number
You
2?
keep coming up with those.
These weird ones. Yeah, this
Yeah,
this
I know.
year I don't have many commercial hits whatsoever.
Okay. And now it begins.
Yeah.
The Avengers.
Yeah, okay, I was waiting for that. I thought it might be your number 1, but
Yes, $1.5 billion.
yeah, it had to be billions. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you know, everybody was in this, obviously. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, but mainly Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Samuel L. Jackson again,
Yep.
Gwyneth Paltrow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So this had more to do with the Thor side. His brother Loki
Right.
is jealous, you know, of his brother's power and stuff. So he makes a deal with these aliens that he would become king of the earth.
Yep.
So now there's this whole crisis thing. So now SHIELD, which has been forming over the past couple of years, you know, in secret, has called all these people together: Captain America, Thor, you know, Iron Man, the Hulk, Black Widow,
Yeah.
the guy that shoots the arrows, I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking. Hawkeye, I think.
Yeah, Hawkeye. They're all coming together to
Yeah.
fight off this alien invasion.
The Hulk was especially great in this one too.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, I mean, he's always good, but the
Yeah,
Hulk gets some of the best moments.
yeah, only because of, you know, going into the Hulk with his anger, and
Yeah.
then,
The
God,
thing where, what's the quote he says, puny god or something, when he's just throwing Loki around like a rag
oh
doll.
yeah, God,
That's
that
the
was
classic
funny.
part.
Like,
Yeah.
Loki's going, I'm a god.
Yeah, right.
he grabs Loki, he starts bouncing around.
Yeah, 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 that's great.
Puny God. I think it was
Right.
Puny God, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, there's a lot of funny scenes in the thing,
right.
and they're all doing the thing. I mean, total action. This just whetted the appetite for
Yeah.
what's coming on down the line.
And this may have, depending on how much you are not that into these, where I fall more into that camp, this may have ruined cinema for the next decade.
Yeah, I mean everything is all Marvel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's like they got the Avenger movies, then they
Hmm.
got the side things like more Captain America,
Right.
more Iron Man, more Amazing Spider-Man. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. If you thought Star Wars spin-offs were too much, I mean,
uh,
this is really
this, yeah,
takes the cake.
this is taking it to the extreme.
Indeed. So yes,
And
not on my list for that
I know,
reason.
but great money makers.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, apparently the public loves these things. I mean, I love the Avengers too.
This is
I
the
mean,
definition of
I
popcorn
never
movies.
read any of the comic books. I was like a DC guy,
Right.
when I was growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
But on screen, you know,
Yeah. No, they did a great job. I mean, all the casting is perfect. And yeah, you gotta love Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Just one of the greatest
yeah, I
superhero
mean,
characters.
he makes it. Plus
Yeah.
the conflict that he has, with uh, Captain America.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's always fun.
always going on. Plus, he picks on everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
All these little quips and stuff.
Yep, indeed. So my number two is probably the antithesis of the Avengers. And I know for sure you won't have this on your list, but it is The Master.
No, I do not.
Have you seen The Master though?
I have not seen the Master yet,
Oh, okay.
but I know that it was one of the movies that was ranked very highly that
I'd
year.
be very curious to see your thoughts on this movie. It's probably one of those where after it you'd be like, what the hell was that? But uh Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix in probably two of their best roles of their career, in my opinion. Like even Phoenix's Joker, which won him an Academy Award, his role as this guy named Freddie Quell is just it's one of those performances where you just can't take your eyes off him the whole movie, and he basically just like a terrible person who is kind of a drifter in life and just going from one thing to the next, and essentially an alcoholic and doesn't know what he's doing. And then he meets Philip Seymour Hoffman, who plays this guy who is based on L. Ron Hubbard and has this movement that's
Scientology.
as very much like Scientology. Yeah, he writes these books and has all these theories on, reincarnation being a part of it, basically. And there's all these people that follow him, and there's like some really creepy stuff in it. But that's not even. There's just so many things going on in this movie that and it's the dichotomy of these two actors. There's this one scene in particular which is amazing, with just the two of them looking at each other, and Seymour Hoffman is like interviewing him to be a part of the movement, and he's asking him all these questions, and he makes him answer the questions without blinking, and anytime he blinks he has to start over again. And the scene is insane. Like, I don't know how Phoenix didn't blink that long, and the camera actually stays on him for a long time. but yeah, it's nuts. And there's a lot of other great actors in the movie, but it's for acting, it's a tour de force for both of these guys. And Paul Thomas Anderson directed it, and yeah, it's great. So what's your number one?
My number one, he's back. The Dark Knight Rises.
Ah, wow, you put this over Avengers.
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Bale, Anne Hathaway played
Catwoman.
Batwoman. Yeah, and she was like really good in it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, she was in 2 movies this year also.
Yeah.
A lot of actors were in more than one movie this year.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the who was the Tom Hardy plays the villain, right?
Yeah,
Of Bane. Yeah.
yeah. And
Which
again, it goes back to the beginning, that organization that Bruce Wayne joined and then had to fight.
yeah,
So all this was related to that.
right.
And again, it was the destruction of Gotham.
Yeah. Exactly. And it gets pretty intense in some parts where you're like, you don't know where it's gonna
Yeah,
go.
and Christian, Batman got injured in the last movie,
Right.
and so he hasn't done anything. I think this is like 7 years later
Yeah.
after the incident where he was accused of killing the district attorney Harvey Dent.
Yeah. Right.
So everybody is against him. I mean, there was a scene where he finally had to help
Mm-hmm.
the city, and all the cops are chasing him instead of the bad guys.
Yeah, right.
The bad guy gets away, and there's like 100 police cars chasing after him.
Yeah, the deck had never been so stacked against Batman.
Yeah, right.
In one movie.
Yeah, I know. The only one that appreciated what he did and stuff was the commissioner, who now gets almost killed in this episode, and
Yeah.
for most of the time it's in a hospital.
Right.
So, and it was like one kid that he saw Batman in the first movie, and now growing up, and he's a cop.
Yeah.
And he's like helping Batman in this movie. So there's all like these different elements,
Yeah.
in the movie. But yeah, it's like, again, nonstop action from beginning to end. Usual dark.
Yeah. So you went with some hot action in your top 3 here, nonstop.
Nonstop.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm doing the math here because again, we had none in common. So this is tough. Let's see. Okay. So The Dark Knight Rises has a higher score. Oh, wait, I haven't told you my number 1 yet.
That's right.
I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
I know. Shit. I'm going, wait, what is missing here?
I'm too excited. So my number 1 is Flight.
You made that your number 1. Okay.
Yeah, Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I mean that's on my honorable mention list, which is long. I mean he played a really good part in that movie. I mean, the thing that he did with that plane.
Yeah, unheard
of.
On
drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Was amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he saved all those lives.
Yeah, that scene of the plane scene is amazing. And you think it's going to be based mostly around that, which I mean, it is, but then it's really more of this character study on this alcoholic, Denzel Washington, who, has to deal with the morality of what, like, he did this great thing, but at the cost of, you know, doing this horrible thing at the same time. So,
Right.
it,
And having to pay the price for it.
yeah. And John Goodman is so good in this as his drug dealer who shows up a few times in the movie, is hilarious. And then Don Cheadle plays his lawyer who's trying to get him through this and just, say what needs to be said. And it should be easy, but then it's not, so it's got some twists and turns to it, and you're not sure where it's going to go. But I felt like the ending was kind of a deserved ending. And Robert Zemeckis, who is always a great director, I think he did a fantastic job with it. But this, to me, is one of Denzel's greatest acting performances. He's like so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's another one of my favorite movies, but
Didn't
it's
make your
like,
top five.
I know it's just like there was so many.
Yeah. Oh, this also had a really good soundtrack too. They employed some greats from the '60s, like "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Stones, and that Joe Cocker song "Feeling All Right." And yeah, it was just really well made. I mean, for some reason, this only has a 3.3 on Letterboxd, so it will be our number two to The Dark Knight Rises, which is a 3.7. But oh well. But hey, The Master is a higher score than The Avengers. So Master is 3 and Avengers is 4.
Okay.
And now I'm looking at, that's why I was getting ahead of myself. The Place Beyond the Pines is a 3.7, and your 3 is Skyfall.
3.8.
Oh man, really? Damn it. All right. Well, there you have it. So what are your other honorable mentions?
My honorable mention, well, my first real honorable mention is Moonrise Kingdom, the only Wes Anderson movie I like.
Wow, I'm impressed. And that's one of the only ones that I was just kind of like neutral on. And it
Yeah,
wasn't one of my favorites.
I mean it's a wacky coming of age movie.
Yeah,
You know,
with the
uh,
Boy Scouts.
yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think it's an island somewhere off of Maine, up
right.
in that area, up in the New England area, and like these two kids, like fall in love.
Hmm.
They become pen pals first. They meet at church to become pen pals,
Right.
and they decide to run away.
Yep.
You know, and they've got some issues too. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure. As everyone does in any Wes Anderson movie. But yeah, what a cast. I mean, like Bill
yeah,
Murray, Bruce
yeah,
Willis,
Ed
Edward
Norton,
Norton. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
So
now he was in the Scouts. So now his Scout organization is looking for him.
right.
The island is looking for him.
Yeah.
Uh, Bruce Willis was the cop,
Yeah. He's looking
so
for him. Yeah.
he's looking for him, and the Boy Scouts catch up to him initially,
Right.
and they have like this battle thing.
Yeah. Right.
A bow and arrow kills the dog,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. Right.
and the dog's
Yeah.
name was Snoopy, or it was like,
Yeah.
all this mayhem going on, and then there's this big storm coming in.
Yeah. Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
But I'm
so,
impressed that you have that at least as an honorable mention, even though I felt like I was really anticipating this one because I thought it looked amazing, but then
yeah.
I felt like they could have done it better. But
I mean,
yeah.
initially I had it higher on my list, And then because of the other ones I kept putting on, it kept going lower and lower and lower.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah,
You're right. It was a good year. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So what
And
were some
now
of
for
the other
the
ones?
other ones,
Yes.
I mean, Mud,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
which was really good.
Yeah.
Argo won Best Picture that year.
Oh right. Yeah. Argo was good. Yeah.
Zero Dark 30.
Mm-hmm.
And it was based on, Argo was based on a true story. And that
Right.
was like an amazing story.
Oh yeah.
Zero Dark 30,
Mm-hmm.
the final episode of the Twilight Saga,
Right.
the big
Surprised that
battle.
didn't make your list. Yeah.
I know, as I said, there was so many.
Yeah.
Uh, that was 829 million that made.
Uh-huh.
The Amazing Spider-Man,
Uh-huh.
757 million. The Hunger Games,
Ah, yeah.
yeah. Jennifer Lawrence,
Right.
Men in Black, the third one, the last one.
Yep.
Life of Pi got Best Director.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was an amazing movie. I
Yeah.
mean, he definitely deserved Best Actor with that. The tiger in the lifeboat thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's his name got Best Actor for that.
Right.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
Jennifer
That was a good
Lawrence
one too.
again, you know, she got Best Actress for that one.
Yep.
Les Mis,
Mm-hmm.
Anne Hathaway again, got
Right.
Best Supporting Actress on that.
Right.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Looper, I'm surprised you didn't say Looper.
Oh yeah, Looper was good too. Yeah.
Yeah. 21 Jump Street,
Mm-hmm.
Cloud Atlas,
Yep.
Prometheus,
Mm-hmm.
starting in those. The Cabin in the Woods, a really, really good horror movie.
Uh-huh.
Reacher,
Okay.
Seven Psychopaths. I thought you would do Seven Psychopaths.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah, good
any
year.
one of those movies could have been in my top 5.
Wow.
It was like an amazing year.
Yeah. Well, good job. Yeah, I think we got a pretty good list here that I would say, I mean, obviously there's some heavy action here with your top 3, but also we snuck in some dramas here with mine. So let's read it off.
I heard Nestor was like really good. And
Yeah.
I read the reviews and it was really good. So, I mean, I have no problem with it being,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. You should check it out. I think you would actually like it.
Yeah, actually, I wrote it down.
All right, cool.
So,
It also somewhat works as not a historical movie, but kind of a period piece of in the 50s, I think is when it was set. So, and the cinematography in it is just amazingly good. So, but it's just one of those movies, like by the time you get to the end of it, you're kind of like, what exactly was he trying to say with that movie? But that's kind of why I like it, because it just makes you think about a lot of different things. But
yeah, it was like probably like that one last year or a couple of years ago. I can't remember the name of the movie, but we both had it.
Yeah. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, No Country for Old Men. You go, what?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
How can you end it there? What?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So the top 5 movies of 2012 as chosen by 3 and 4. At number 5, Skyfall. At number 4, The Avengers. At number 3, The Master. At number 2, Flight. And at number 1, The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah.
Good list.
It was an unbelievable year.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, billions of dollars. Like,
yeah.
The top.
And now here we are 10 years later, and no one's even going to the movie theater anymore.
No, I mean,
for various reasons.
I haven't gone to the movie theater.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't seen, the last thing I saw in the theater was Rise of Skywalker. So that was what? Was it 2019 or 2020? I can't remember. It was pre-COVID. So I think it was
Yeah,
2019.
that could have been the last movie I saw in the theater too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, this next Batman movie comes out in March, and I will see if things die
Yeah,
down
we'll
yet
see. I
again.
mean, this was a really good Batman series.
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to top, but it's
All
looking
right.
pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen the preview for
Yeah.
the Batman yet, but it looks pretty awesome, I have to say.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
So
this was, you know, this to me is going to be, and the Joker, the second one too.
right, yeah,
No.
of course. Yeah, that'll be almost impossible to top Heath Ledger. So there's no Joker in this first one, but it looks really dark and really cool.
Yeah, I think
So
they got the Penguin.
Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman.
Okay.
So yeah, should be cool. But all right, well, sweet. So we'll see you on the next one for 2013. We're getting closer and closer to modern day, but yeah, tune in, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you then. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.